Is no restart.
Big move in Bitcoin then, in contrast to all the notes I wrote pre-show, which were telling me that this was going to put Bitcoin under pressure.
The narrative that perhaps this launch of these political meme coins will sap flows from Bitcoin is showing us that it's really not the case this morning. If anything, it's just accelerated the momentum and the excitement around cryptocurrency under another Trump administration.
Hi, Dewald. What is all this FOMO about? Should I buy Bitcoin now?
Are you smoking your socks? You should rather watch my show. You should rather watch my show.
Right, legends, welcome to another live stream. I see people are still popping in and getting ready, right? The notifications are still going out. Dewald is live. Let's analyze the price of Bitcoin here together and see, well, where is the next potential trading setup that I'm looking at. I also want to share what happened yesterday after my live stream. One absolute amazing trade that we caught together as a community yesterday after the live stream. And now, you know, I'm in a long at the moment, but I'm looking for a short. You know, guys, it's about scalping the range. For me, I'm here dancing around on the 15-minute time frame. And as you can see, right, this is the area that I am now really interested in to see, well, what is going to happen over here. Okay, right, just jumping right into the technical analysis, okay? When I take a fixed range profile for this entire consolidation area until just before we had the drop here to the downside, you can see that we have a point of control where the highest amount of volume was traded. Can you guys see that wall of volume over there? Right. Also in confluence with the naked point of control. Also, when you take a fib from the high to the low, it's the golden pocket. Okay, so I want to see how price is going to react when we hit this level for a potential short, right? And it's a scalp short to the downside, right? Are we going to reject here by the 50%, struggle maybe a little bit, maybe get that push to the upside, then get a rejection, okay? When you start hitting support, okay, guys, I'm looking to take advantage of that move. Okay, I'm not saying rejection, down we go, $74,000, right? we short resistance, we take profits at support, and we show a long support and we take profits when we hit resistance. Right, legends, let's dive into some technical analysis. Remember to smash up that like button on your way in if you haven't done so already. Maybe you forgot. Okay, let me go and do that. Okay, let me go and hit my like button over here. That's what I need to do, right? Need to smash up that like button. Hello, Dewald. Currently learning how to drive, so I won't be able to watch the live, but smash the like on my way in. Thank you so much, Hugo. I appreciate it. Now, let me put the comments here on the screen. Right, let's go back here. Let me say hi to the community quick. Not a lot of you in here at the moment, but I can see the numbers are picking up. Mr. Mark Dutch, welcome in the house. Best intro in crypto space. Thank you so much. I think it's hilarious. I love my intro. Right, Alex, let's go. Muhid, sorry, on fire, right? On fire. Hugo, okay, I've gone through that one. Yes, Dewald is live. Frank, hi, Dewald. Let's go to all-time high. Hey, Dewald, I hope everything is going well with you. I have been following you for a few months now, and I have learned so much from you. Thank you so much. At the end of the month, I will be a pro member. Wow, can't wait for you to join our pro members, because I want to show you what happened and transpired yesterday in our pro members community just after I jumped off the live stream. Okay, I took a short at 105. Let's see, 105. Ooh, quite a nice entry there to the upside. This zone over here. But I also took a long of the SFP, of the point of control 101, yeah, down at the bottom, 101, yeah, at the bottom somewhere, right? This is the trade I want to talk about. This is the trade that I want to talk about. TP at Golden Pocket, beautiful, beautiful. Guys, I like it when people tell me they're getting into trades, they're taking profits, they're protecting their position, because that is what trading is about. Remember, guys, the only thing that you have control over, okay, is buy and sell and managing your risk. That's all you can do. It's the only thing you have control over. Why am I entering? Okay, you just click buy and sell. It's the only thing you can do. You're either shorting, you're either longing. You have control over that. You have control over where you put your stop loss, and you have control over where you take profits. The market does the rest. You cannot control the market at the end of the day. So if you are executing the things that you do have control over, great, then you'll be a successful trader. As easy as that. Right, Legend is back. Hi, Dewald, welcome to the stream. Morning, guys. Danny, welcome. Rad. Dewald, what do you think of hitting 618, rejecting there? This is exactly what I'm looking at the moment, okay? Exactly the same level, Mr. Rad, okay? You take a fib from the high to the low, okay? Golden pocket, right? You have a naked point of control, and this naked point of control is also in confluence with, if you look at the volume that was traded during this entire range over here, there's a high volume node over there, right? It never ceases to amaze me of how many traders will take the exact same trade. Some people will lose money during this trade. Some people will be in massive profits and still lose everything. Some people will make a lot of gains during this trade. But it never ceases to amaze me about, if you had to see 100 people taking the exact same trade, and you go and analyze who made money, who lost money, why did they lose money, you'll be pleasantly, you'll be very surprised, and it will be very interesting to see how 100 people trade this area differently, where some make money. Okay, if this had to play out, some people will make money, some people will lose money, some people might even get liquidated. It's crazy the amount of things that can happen where the same amount of people will take the same trade and not everyone will make profits, because there's people waiting for lower. They get stopped out. Maybe they don't move their stop loss, so they take a loss. Okay, there's some people that will think the price is going to turn around, so they will keep on moving their stop loss, okay, and then they liquidate their position. There's some people do not know where to take profits, right? Okay, it's just, yeah, it never ceases to amaze me. Anyways, let me get into the meat of potatoes. The reason why you are all here is to look, so we can find that high confluence area together. Hopefully your technical analysis gels with a little bit of my technical analysis. Maybe you see something that I'm pointing out that you are not seeing. Maybe you make a comment over here and you show me something that I'm not potentially seeing. Okay, but let's do the technical analysis here together. So welcome everyone to the live stream. Okay, cool. Just want to see if I'm not missing anything. The one and only legend, Mr. Dewald. Right, let's go, legends. How many people have we got on the stream? Over 135, 49 likes. I know the like button can do slightly better over here. Okay, so legends, quick thing. I want to talk about what happened yesterday from an education perspective. So before we talk about what happened last night, this is the best area for potential short from a technical perspective that I'm potentially seeing. Please do not be that person that just goes and adds limit orders in this zone. Okay, don't be that person. Right? Unless you have a strategy that you can successfully do it with great risk management. Okay, right, don't be that person, because what if price rejects? You're like, ooh, yes, and it just smashes through, takes the high, and now you are deep underwater and price continues momentum here to the upside. Right? Unless you have a clear strategy in terms of limit order executions, I'll be honest with you guys, 99.9% of my trades are done via market execution, because I want to see the price, I want to see how it's reacting, I want to see where I can put my stop loss. Okay, for me, my best trades are always market executed trades. The only time I use limit orders most of the time is when I do spot buys. Like on ETH, I still have limit orders below the low. The recent low that ETH made, I still have limit orders there. That's from a spot perspective. Okay, it's not trading, right? Okay, cool, legends. Let's dive in here. Let me switch off the levels. Okay, let me switch off the point of controls. Yesterday, let's do a quick recap of what happened since I did an update here yesterday. We were looking for a contracting diagonal here to the downside, which got invalidated. And something interesting that happened is, okay, let me go to the community and show everyone what happened yesterday. This was the scenario that we were all discussing and analyzing last night. And I said, guys, it would be nice if we take the low of 3 and maybe we go up in ABC, right? And then we fall down for momentum to continue to the downside. And then it just fell through this level over here, this trend line. It just fell through the level. And as soon as that happened, I did another update to the pro community and I said, if price continues to fall here to the downside, I'm looking at the 1.618. We all know that magic number and the 0.5% FIP retracement for a bounce. That's exactly. Price was dancing around here at the 1.382 and I said, this is the zone where I'm looking for a long, right? 1.618, 50% FIP retracement. And a couple of minutes later, right, we entered the trade together as a community and I highlighted the TP zones to the upside. Guys, I'm in the trade. TP1, TP2. Okay. Then something happened to me. I clicked on the wrong button. I made a little bit of profits to the upside and I closed my position by mistake. Okay. At least I made 33.41% profits. But I'm not the type of person that will just jump back into the trade because now my risk management doesn't make sense. So I left it. Okay, that's where I just left it and I said, click the wrong button, guys, closed my position by mistake, at least made some profits. But then I ran through the comments and the money shots here on the community and boy oh boy did people rope in the profits with this trade, you know, and this is just me being funny over here. That 1.618 level is absolutely magic. Okay, and then, you know, I was sitting in front of the chart saying, guys, if we do get a retracement back to the 0.5 golden pocket, then I will jump back into the trade. But I'm not going to FOMO in here at the top. Okay, and then I went to bed. And this is just some updates from Andy and our coaches inside of the Legends Pro community over here. So that's basically what happened yesterday. Okay, last night. So this is what I was looking at. Took a FIP from the high to the low, to the high, right? This is where I got into the trade. Beautiful, 1.618. Some of you might be asking, Dewald, but where did you get the 0.5 FIP retracement? Okay, it was from this pivot to the high, right? 0.5, 1.618. And what I also liked is this little beautiful consolidation order block. This is what we call an order block. Okay, these little, you know, you get the pump and then you get the consolidation. You get the pump, you get the consolidation. These little consolidation areas provide beautiful support when price starts coming back to those levels. So definitely an area where you need to pay attention. Okay, so let's just throw some education in there as well. So that is basically where we got the bounce. And now the rest is history. That 1.618 is an absolute beautiful level. Now, legends, what is interesting about this structure here to the downside? Okay, what is interesting about this little structure here to the downside is that some people might say, well, it looks like a 5-wave structure. Okay, this looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is your corrective structure, and we're going to continue momentum to the downside. Okay, I think this is the obvious way to look at it, and this is why I'm looking for a short over here. I need to give the bears the benefit of the doubt. Okay, this could be a 3-wave structure here to the downside that's going to correct deeper to the downside. But I also have to look at both sides of the coin. What if price just continues? Then what? What did I miss? Did I miss something? And there's something very interesting that I noticed this morning. Okay, technical analysis is never perfect, but there's a rule in Elliott wave theory that states your third wave, this little wave over here, your third wave is not allowed to be the shortest. Okay, so knowing that rule, I went and I said, let me go and measure the other waves. Okay, so when you take a fib, trend-based fib, so I'm taking it here from the high of 3 to the lowest point over here. I'm just, to the lowest point over here. Now I have the length of the third wave. Now I put it on top of 1 to see, well, how long was the first wave. And you can see it dipped below the 1-to-1 extension, which means that this wave is longer than this wave, which is fine, as long as the fifth wave is a little bit shorter, because the third wave is not allowed to be the shortest in an impulse. Okay, then I take the fib, the same fib over here, and then I say, okay, well, let me go measure the fifth wave here to the downside. Boy, oh boy, we have a problemo. Fifth wave also tapped the 1-to-1 extension, which means that this wave is the shortest. It's not allowed. Okay. There could be a problem. Maybe I'm measuring it incorrectly, whatever the case might be, but this is not a good sign. For a clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, your third wave is not allowed to be the shortest. So now I have identified a problem. So I'm acknowledging the fact, okay, well, maybe, just maybe, it's still a 5-wave structure and I have measured it incorrectly. Maybe it looks better on Bybit, maybe it looks better on Coinbase. Okay, maybe it's just a Binance issue, whatever the case might be, but I have to consider what I'm seeing from a technical perspective is to say that, well, maybe, just maybe, this is a 3-wave structure. It's forming another 3-wave up. It could also form another 3-wave down. Okay, so it can still form a larger corrective structure. But what makes this wave interesting, okay, the fact that the third wave is the shortest, has now increased the probabilities that this movement to the downside is corrective and not impulsive, which is great news for the bulls. What that basically means, based on the small little analysis that I've done over there, identifying that there's a higher chance for this to be a corrective structure than an impulsive structure to the downside, is whatever happens, okay, let me just zoom out over here. It basically means if I take now my fib from this low over here, whatever happens over here, the probabilities are still higher to take the high before we take the low because of the movement to the downside and the third wave being the shortest. Okay, nothing is ever guaranteed. Okay, for whatever reason, if it is a valid 5-wave structure to the downside, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you want to see an A, B, C corrective structure, not taking the high, right? And now you want to see more impulses to the downside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So you're expecting a deeper correction to the downside if this is impulsive. Because now that you have impulses to the downside, you have a correction to the upside. It means impulses are continuing to the downside. This is why it's very dangerous to see a 5-wave structure to the downside if you are looking at longs. Okay, usually when I see a clear 5-wave structure to the downside and I'm looking for longs, I ain't looking for longs anymore. Then I'm starting to look for shorting opportunities. And I went through detail about this yesterday in my live stream, about the importance of 5 waves to the downside versus 5 waves to the upside, your corrective structures being 3-wave structures. Right, so legends, regardless of what I've just told you, okay, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, okay? The trading scenario that I'm looking at the moment is, from a technical perspective, is this, right? Value area for this entire range that we formed here on top, we have a high volume node. Beautiful. When you take a fib from the high to the low, it's in alignment perfectly with a 0.618 golden pocket. When I switch on all my naked point of controls, you have a naked point of control, okay? Yesterday's daily candle provided a naked point of control, which is also in alignment with the point of control of this entire range. Right, so I have confluence for a potential shorting opportunity. Because you never know where price is going to go next, No one knows. You cannot control the market. Remember when I opened up the live stream and I spoke about what you can control from a trading perspective, okay? If this is a 5-wave structure, valid 5-wave structure to the downside, you expect a rejection and continuation to the downside. But if this is a corrective structure based on the problems that I've just identified, there's a chance that you reject, you find support, and you continue momentum to the upside. So because I don't know what's going to happen, the best thing that I can do as a trader is you short when you see the reaction that you want to see. You put your stop loss where you're supposed to put your stop loss, and when you hit support to the downside, you damn well pay yourself. Okay, and if you are speculating on further momentum to the downside, then you leave a moon bag open. Okay, but please guys, pay yourself when you start hitting support right to the downside. Something that I really preach a lot here on the channel, and some of you might get maybe a little bit tired of me repeating this, but I still see people struggling and liquidating and blowing holes in their accounts, so I will keep on saying this. Okay, so the most obvious shorting opportunity is the golden pocket. A little bit further up, the 786. So the one thing that I don't like about this zone is, I'm not saying that we can't get a rejection. It is the best technical level. The one thing about this area that I don't like is I see a lot of people are watching this zone. And when a lot of people are watching a specific zone for an entry, I like to look at the level above. Okay, I like to look slightly higher, because what if price does get here, but it starts chopping and it makes it so difficult for these people to get in there. They either start giving up, or they got stopped out twice already with little wicks to the upside. Okay, and this is where I look at levels a little bit higher up to say that, well, okay, it's getting choppy over here. What if I tap that level, value area high, 786, scare the crap out of these people. They don't want to short anymore, and then you fall to the downside. So definitely another area that I will be paying attention to. Okay, there's also another way, guys, that you can measure this, right? So if this is, let me take all of the noise here out the chart, clean up the kitchen. Let's zoom in here. If this is a 3-wave structure, A, B, and it's now forming the final C leg to the upside, well, I can measure this target. Okay, there's specific levels that I can keep an eye on. You take your trend-based FIB from the low to the high to the low. Okay, also 1-to-1 extension, beautiful alignment with the naked point of control. The 1-to-1 extension is also a very, very common 3-wave structure target. We already got a reaction at the 0.618. This is something that I look at, is that when I do a FIB pool, okay, and some of the levels has already been tapped, was there a reaction at that level? And if there wasn't a reaction at the level, you most probably have the correct FIB pool over here. So 1-to-1 extension, 1.236. Okay, you don't, yeah, it is possible to get a 1.618, but I mean, this is going to be deep. I think you might tap the 0.88 there to the top. Can you guys see 0.88? Okay, but definitely if you don't like to use your FIB retracements, this is my favorite way of trading. I like to trade FIB extension levels instead of FIB retracement levels. But when you align them and they do line up perfectly, it gives you extra level of confluence. Like the trade we caught here together to the downside. Okay, it was the 0.5, it was the 1.618. Beautiful long here to the upside. Right, and for the pro members that are watching the stream over here, you know, TP1, TP2 got hit. Okay. Cool, legends. That is basically the levels that I'm watching here on the price of Bitcoin. Something else I want to point out over here, and I will go through some comments in a second, is that there was another trade, Mr. Easy, I think it's under the Easy Trade setups. Okay, it's just amazing P&Ls. There was an XRP trade highlighted by one of our coaches this morning. Just wanted to point this out. Okay, currently at TP1. Remember, guys, to pay yourself. I watched XRP. I took the same trade on XRP, and TP1 got hit. Breakout, TP1, TP2 at the highs. Right, so another successful trade in the bag. And when you get nice little momentum from Bitcoin to the upside, the D-line strategy and the breakout strategy on altcoins, they work really, really well. Just make sure that you choose an altcoin that has, you know, some liquidity behind it, a decent market cap, because you don't want to get spiked out of your trades with scam weeks to the up and to the downside. Okay, was there something else? I was watching this trade here on Doge, has not broken out yet. So still keeping an eye on this one on Doge at the moment. Okay, obviously Bitcoin is going to have to give us some momentum for these trades to play out. But XRP was the early one this morning and has already hit TP1 here to the upside. Okay, something else. Something else that I have been testing out, something else that I have been doing here in the background is... people have asked me, Dewald, do you not have another exchange besides Weeks and Bluffin? Right, so down in the description of this video, okay, I've got BTCC. Myself, Andy, and the team, we've been testing out this exchange. We've been trading on this exchange, okay? No KYC. You can verify yourself if you want to. Up to $10,000, $10,055 sign-up bonus. So here is another amazing exchange. I've put some money into this exchange. I went and played around. I traded on it, okay? And I mean, they have over what? I made some notes over here, just, you know, some of my research that I've done over the last couple of weeks. They've got over 300 altcoins to choose from. So if you want to build up some spot bags, okay, you can do it over here. You can go up to 500x leverage. That's absolutely insane. I just want to see if I go here to the leverage platform. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Oh my word. Guys, I don't know who's brave enough to trade with 500x leverage. I mean, you need to be an insane scalper with very tight stop losses not to get liquidated with 500x. But they do offer it over here. Okay. What else? They've been in the game for more than 14 years, so definitely an exchange that I think, you know, have stood the test of time so far. And as you guys can see, I've put some money into the exchange. I'm going to start trading some aggressive scalping and swing trades. I'm still deciding what type of trading I want to do on this exchange. It's difficult to do the same type of trading on every single exchange because you have to be so fast with your entries. So I'm thinking that I'm going to use Bluffin. I'm going to use BTCC over here to open up some swing trades when it's ready. Okay, no swing trades for me at the moment. I'm waiting for specific levels, but I will let everyone know here in the live stream when I'm ready for my swing trades. So I'm thinking I'm going to use this money to open up some swing trades. Right, cool, legends. Let me go through some comments. You said on a stream that the one we have been waiting for, son, it need to be inclined in the song. Okay, can we get 12 more likes and hit 100 legends? That would be absolutely amazing. We are almost there. We're almost there. I can see the like button is climbing ever so slightly. Right, dominance is showing strength again. Let's go and have a look at CVD. Let me refresh this. Yes, I'm not seeing any weakness at the moment. In fact, it is still showing strength here to the upside. So maybe we're going to go and hit that golden pocket to the upside. Remember, guys, I just want to point this out, okay? Although this is the best technical area for a short, if I do not see the reaction that I want to see over here, if price just pierces through and it trades above my area of interest, I ain't interested in shorting. When I'm looking for a short at this area, and price is above my area of interest, I'm not shorting. Price has to dip above and start trading below. That is a sign of weakness. That's where I enter the short. Okay, if there's no reaction here, I look at the 1.236. If there's no reaction there, I look at the 1.382. Maximum target 1.618, which ironically increases the probabilities of taking that high. So if we get a rejection here, okay, the golden pocket over here becomes a profit-taking area for me because I know the game of probabilities. You tap a 0.88 together with a 1.618 when you take a fib from the high to the low. Okay, what price likes to do is reject at the 0.88, come back to the point of control, and goes and it takes the high. That's exactly what we're now looking at on the larger time frames as well, the 4-hour time frame. Okay, it's the exact same scenario. Okay, let me clean up the chart. Right, let me take the point of controls out over here. Let me go to the 4-hour. We've discussed this in length yesterday as well. Okay, let's take this out. Right, when you take a fib from the high, because you guys can see these probabilities play out on all time frames. Okay, you got the rejection at the 0.88. Price could come down to the golden pocket, find support above this area over here, and then go take out the high. Right. Or it's just going to consolidate here, okay, build a little bit of a consolidation and go and take out the high. You never know how this is going to play out, but this is why it's always just important to take profits when you start hitting support to the downside, especially if you're playing shorts. Okay, so legends, these are basically the trading scenarios and levels that I am currently watching at the moment. There's the possibility, okay, let me just make sure that I've gone through. It might work for others, but not for me. Okay, there's the possibility that this is a 5-wave structure to the downside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've shown everyone that there's a problem with the third wave. It is the shortest. It's not allowed. It's a hardcore rule. It's not even, it decreases the probabilities. Your third wave is not allowed to be the shortest. So if this is a corrective structure to the downside, which it looks like it is most likely, it looks 5-wavy, but your third wave is the shortest, which gives it a much higher probability that this is a corrective structure, which increases the probabilities that we're going to take the high again before we take the low of the range, or the low of the structure, which is this low. So it is still very far away. Okay. For now, the probabilities are higher to take the high before you take the low because of this structure to the downside and the third wave being the shortest. Because nothing is ever for certain, okay, maybe I measured it wrong. Maybe you guys can go and give it a go and see if you can find a better way of measuring it. Because if also, when I zoom in here to the smaller time frames, okay, I mean, I can go and spend hours on this structure trying to figure it out. Okay. The best thing you can do as a technical trader is just to identify those areas of resistance to the upside, look for the reaction, short the market, okay, pay yourself on the way down. Right, but you can go into a lot of detail over here. You could say that, well, what if this was 1, 2, 3, okay, you still need a 4 and a 5, 4, 5. This was an ABC corrective structure after you made the third wave. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then this is a corrective structure. So this becomes 1, this becomes 2. Then you form your third wave here to the downside. Your third wave. Third wave also has to have 5-wave structures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, beautiful. Sorry, I counted this wrong. So you see why you need hours. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Third wave. Okay. Correction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fifth wave. So there's your 5-wave structure. But this one is short. It's very short to be a third wave. It looks like a corrective structure to the downside. Okay. Cool. What else? One legend said one time, if can't see something in small frame, check the big one. Yes. I wonder who said that once. Okay. Right, so let's look at the larger time frame. Okay, maybe we should even jump into the 4-hour, but the 4-hour doesn't show you anything. So let's look at the 1-hour time frame. Okay, I can see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can see a 5-wave structure. Definitely, this is your problem. Your third wave is the shortest. It's not allowed. So now the question is this impulsive? Because this is a good question to ask, because if this is impulsive in a 5-wave structure, you want to see a 3-wave corrective structure and continuation to the downside. If this is corrective, you could even go and claim this high again without claiming the low. And for now, the probabilities actually leans more towards corrective because of the third wave being the shortest. Right, but we'll only know once the structure actually plays out. Okay, hi Dewald, how bullish does Aptos chart look to you on a larger time frame? Aptos, you guys want to have a quick squiz at some altcoins? Should we look at some altcoins? Right, cool legends. Remember, for those of you that's just joined now, I see there's still a lot of people jumping into the live stream. There's a new exchange, okay, BTCC, that I've been testing out. I've put some money into the exchange. I'm trading here very successfully. Lots of liquidity. Stop losses gets executed, okay. I really like the exchange. New exchange, first link down in the description. No KYC. No, all you need is an email and a password to sign up, and you get up to $10,000, 500 sign up bonus, depending on the activities and things that you complete inside of the exchange. So go have some fun. If you haven't checked out this exchange, link down in the description. Make sure that my name is there inside the referral code, otherwise you will not qualify for the bonuses and the future things that we're going to launch here on BTCC. Okay. Right, yeah, they say it as well, okay, up to $10,000 welcome bonus, 300 cryptos to choose from, 500x leverage, been in the game for more than over 14 years. Okay, cool guys, let's go and have a look at some altcoins. Something interesting, maybe before we jump into the altcoins, is dominance. USDT dominance. I was looking at USDT dominance this morning, and I mean, we've been talking about this trend during many live streams, that it's been respected since the initiation of dominance, USDT dominance. And for those of you that doesn't know or don't know what this chart represents, it's basically an indicator. You can't trade it, but it shows you how much money people are using or leaving in their stable coins, and how much people are actually deploying into the crypto space, like buying Bitcoin or their favorite altcoin. So you want this to go down. When it goes down, it means people are deploying cash out of their stable coins into their favorite altcoin or Bitcoin. Okay, so up is bad, down is very nice. Right, so since 2017, this trend line has been respected. Every single time you get a tap, it bounces. You get a tap, it bounces. Right? And then this happened. We were like, wow, is it going to lose the trend for the first time in history? Is it going to lose it? And then when you zoom into the smaller time frames, you formed a double bottom and you got acceptance back inside the trend. So something to pay attention to over here. Look at where dominance is at the moment. It is tapping the trend again. So this could act as an area of support in the short term. Okay, you broke back up, you got acceptance back inside the trend. This can now act as support and potentially give you another bounce. That is bad for crypto. It's bad for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and our altcoins. It means that there's potentially a correction on the cards unless it loses the trend properly this time and claims the lows. Properly, no double bottoms. It needs to fall down aggressively, take the lows, not just tap it and get acceptance, and then you have a triple bottom, which is actually more bullish. You want it to lose it. Okay, then it can come back for retest perfectly fine and continue to the downside. But if dominance loses this trend, okay, something very interesting to note, that it will be the first time in history that it's done that. Okay, on the regular scale. I'm not looking at logarithmic. Right, so just something to point out, we are at major support here for USDT dominance. Right, I was also looking at this is actually a very interesting story I want to discuss over here, but let's go and look at a couple of altcoins. I want to come back to this. I want to come back to this chart. Okay, I want to come back to this chart. Something interesting I want to discuss over here. Dominance has lost the trend. It looks like it's still finding momentum here to the downside, and until such time that it's still finding momentum here to the downside, maybe we will still see a little bit of love going into the alt ecosystem. The first major area of support to the downside is above these highs at 61%. So there's a chance that dominance is going to continue a little bit further down until it hits the first area of support at 61%. So, right, it's nice. Eventually, finally, it looks like dominance is finding a little bit of weakness. The question is, will it sustain the weakness here to the downside? Will we get that epic altcoin season and just lose this trend? Okay, this is the most important trend over here. If I go into the daily time frame, okay, just to show everyone where I get that trend from. Okay, I think it was, I need to go into the log scale. Here we go. Okay, this is the most important trend. Okay, the trend that connects these pivots, okay, with this little pivot over here. And you can see we've only now lost the sharp momentum here to the upside. So maybe, you know, best case scenario, it bounces on the trend, but we can take advantage of that move. But for a proper altcoin season, this is the trend that needs to be lost. Okay, and that is the low that needs to be taken properly. It needs to take that low properly for a proper altcoin season to the downside. These little movements here to the downside, okay, is going to give us a temporary mini altcoin season. If it gets the bounce, then we're all, okay, oh crap, there goes dominance again to the upside. Now we bleed again inside of our altcoins. Right, let me go look at, what was that? Was it Ondo? Let me see if I can find that comment. Right, that's what happens when I talk so much. Okay, I want to see if I can find that comment. Was it Ondo? Can't remember now, guys. Sorry, I can't remember now. Okay. Can't remember if it was Ondo. Let me know in the comments. Tao. Was it Tao? T-A-O. Let's go. T-A-O. USDT. Let's go. Guys, the exercise that I'm going through right now, okay, is, like I said yesterday in my live stream, you guys will see that I have a blue list over here. If you recommend an altcoin, I look at it, the technicals looks absolutely sexy, whatever the case might be, I'm going to add it to my blue list. It goes into my spot portfolio. And, let's see, but I'm going to cap it to a max 10, maybe 15 altcoins. Okay, you do not have to have 50 or 100 altcoins in your portfolio to make money. You can still make a lot of money, if not more, by having a little bit less, because you can manage them properly. You can do proper technical analysis on them. You can go and work out proper technical targets, TP areas, okay, when you have less to manage. But you also don't want so little that you have concentration risk. One goes bust and you lose half of your portfolio. You also don't want that. So you want just enough so you can manage them, but you don't need 50 altcoins or 100 altcoins in your portfolio. Well, you know, that's my strategy, of course, no financial advice. If you want 2,000 altcoins in your portfolio, right, you do you. Okay, so Tao, on the daily time frame, let's see what's happening, Mr. Tao. Are you bullish? Are you bearish? Eesh. Is this all we have to work with? Okay, well, what I do like is, based on the data that I have available, okay, let me just clean this up. This was old analysis that I've done, but still very valid. You can see how beautifully that acted as resistance. Currently, Tao is at resistance at the moment. Okay, you can see the resistance over here. Tao is at resistance. This actually needs to move up ever so slightly. There we go. Okay, so guys, I do not like to long into resistance, so it's definitely not in a longing zone. Okay. Right. I do like the 1.61, the 0.618 that got tapped. It almost took that low, but not quite. Didn't take the low quite, but it did tap a corrective structure target. Okay, this is your 3-wave corrective structure. It did tap a minimum target of the 0.618, broke the trend, and now it's continuing here to the upside. I can already count on the daily time frame. I can already count 5 waves to the upside just by looking at it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5s. So it could be topping out for a little bit of a relief rally, or a little bit of a cool off to the downside. Remember, guys, when I see 5-wave structures, okay, No, it's okay. You are now trying to long the last wave. Can it still go a little bit higher? Of course. Okay, can it break out? Yeah, and then it's maybe 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. Don't like that the second one is larger than the first one. Lowers the probabilities. For the structure to come to an end potentially in this zone has higher probability. So you have to wait for the retracement. Okay. Other than that, there's not much to say. Okay, there's not a lot to analyze over here. You have a double bottom that is bullish. You've already broken trend. Well, it proved the bullishness by breaking the trend. Okay, but now you have a double top. Okay, and double tops, like double bottoms, are always bearish as well. So if it cannot claim this high properly for now, because I would like to see some market structure change on the larger time frame, the daily time frame over here. But if it comes back down, maybe it hits support, or you take your fib from the low to the high, golden pocket, 50% Fibonacci, you're looking for that higher low, okay, because that will be your first market structure change. You have now, for the first time, you have a higher low. Lower lows, you want to make a higher low if you do not get the higher high. Okay, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here to the upside. Right, but other than that, not much else to analyze here on Tau. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just want to see if that got invalidated. No, did not get invalidated. I'm just going to leave it at that. Right, BTC, is something happening to BTC? It's breaking up. It's breaking up. I do have an alarm. Okay, I do have an alarm on that point of control. Okay, so I will pay attention when that alarm goes off. Definitely, I will pay attention. The wave 3 is not the shortest. Look at it carefully, Dewald. Thanks. Abdulishin, what do you mean it's not the shortest? Because I've measured this thing, and that's what I'm saying. Maybe I've made a mistake. Okay, maybe I have made a mistake. There's a simple way. Okay, there's a very, very corny, simple way. Is you take it from the top to the bottom. Right, so that is your third wave. Let us make it a little bit thicker. Okay, let's make it 2. Let's make it solid. Okay, there's your third wave. Okay, there's your first wave. It's longer. Your first wave is longer. Your fifth wave is longer. So according to what I'm seeing over here, it is the shortest. Right. How to draw a naked point of control. A naked point of control can be done in various ways. The easiest way to do it, you go to the daily time frame. Pac-Man Dewald doesn't make mistakes. I do sometimes make technical mistakes, and this is why we use stop losses sometimes, right? Okay, so the easiest way to draw point of controls, let me just clean up the chart over here. Okay, take this out the way. I don't know why I have this box. Let's clean it up. Right, is you go to the daily time frame. Okay, and every single morning when I wake up, I look at the previous day's candle to get that day's point of control. So yesterday's point of control, okay, this is the candle that you need to look at. This little candle, this is yesterday's candle. You agree? Then I take the fixed range volume profile. I click on that and I snap it onto the top and to the bottom. Okay, and that little red line over there is the point of control. So it means that for this day, this is where the most amount of volume was traded. Okay, that's how I do it. There's other ways to do it as well. You can use session volume profile on the 15-minute time frame. Some people get confused with this method. Okay, you can go and switch on your session volume profile. Wait, it takes a while to load up. Once it loads up, now you can see inside, okay, each day, each block here represents a day. Okay, and there was the most amount of volume. Sometimes when you jump between the 15-minute and 1 hour time frame, those levels jump around. That is the problemo. Okay, you can see now that I'm on the 1 hour time frame, it is slightly higher. What I do in this instance is I go and look at Bybit or Coinbase and see where that level is. Okay, and on Bybit and Coinbase and the other exchanges, it's this one. That is the level. And what makes this level so significant as well is that when I switch off the session volume profile and I do it manually and I just look at, well, where was the most amount of volume traded inside of this entire range? And I do this. Okay, it also aligns with this little volume node over here. Right, so that is basically how to identify areas of support and resistance to either the up or to the downside. Okay. Okay, right, let's look at Aptos. Guys, my alarm will go off. I have my alarm here at my point of control. When we hit the level, my level to the upside that I'm watching, my alarm will go off. Okay, and until my alarm goes off, I'm not interested. This is what enables me, okay, to do my technical analysis and go and do other things. Go to the gym, wash the dishes, brush my hair, comb my teeth, okay, wax my eyebrows. Because I've done my analysis, I know the shorting levels that I'm looking for, so I set my alarms and I can go and do other things. Right, so until my alarm goes off, not interested in a trade. Right, cool. So let's go look at, before I look at going to wait till 103,800. 103,800. Yes, that's exactly the level that I've got marked out over here. Guys, I did say there's a lot of people watching this level, including you guys, because people already started talking about this level even here in the stream before I highlighted it. Okay, and I saw on social media as well, there's a lot of people watching this area. Can you get the rejection? Of course, it is a really great technical area. But if you don't get the rejection at the 1-to-1 point of control, you still got the 1.236, the 1.382, and this maximum target over here, 1.618. Okay. Right, for that epic trade, or the day trade for the day, because, you know, sometimes people will ask me, Dewald, why are you so bearish? I'm like, I don't know why people think I'm bearish or even bullish. I don't know why people think that, because I can short and long. Okay, yesterday I was in a short and a long. Yesterday I shorted right over there. I showed I think I deleted it now. I showed the trade on weeks that I took over here. I shorted the 0.88 like a sniper. My stop was above the high. I paid myself on the way down. I longed exactly there. This is the power of swing failure patterns. Okay, it's the only trading strategy that I have found that enables you to get into trades at the tippy tops and the tippy bottoms with good risk management is swing failure patterns. This was a swing failure trade and this was a swing failure trade. Right, I got into the long and I got into a short. So yesterday I was bullish and bearish. Okay, so depending on what price offers me, I will either be a bull or a bear. So I'm not always sure why people will say that Dewald is only bullish or only bearish. I don't get it. From a day trading perspective, I don't even know what to call it. I'm a bull and a bear in the same breath, depending on what price offers me. Okay, this morning as well, I saw the break of this trend. Okay, because last night I told the legends about the retracement. Okay, you take a fib from the low to the high. I went to bed at some stage. Okay, and I told the legends, as long as it's pumping to the upside, I'm not interested. I want to play the pullback. Look at this golden pocket. I had a trend over there. You missed the golden pocket swing failure pattern. It broke out. You put your stop below the low. Okay, now it broke the major trend here to the upside as well. So this enables you to catch the breakout before the big breakout happens. So you don't have to have, you know, a big stop loss. You don't have to take on all of this risk, for example. So there was another way to get into the long. There was bullish CVD building up against those two pivots. Okay, this trade was also highlighted inside of our Legends Pro community this morning by one of our coaches, Aditya, Mr. Aiden. Beautiful, beautiful. Right, but I mean, guys, the goal is you don't need to rely on trading setups. So it's great, you know, and I always tell the pro members inside of our Legends Pro community, it's great that we do provide trading setups and levels that we are watching. The goal is that you learn to do it yourself, so that you don't need to watch a person like myself or Andy or whoever your favorite crypto follower is, so that you can switch off, YouTube and just trade by yourself. You are able to do this by yourself, because then you are also able to switch off the noise. Okay, because sometimes someone else's opinion can impact your trading decisions. Looks like ABC. I will smoke Mervin's socks if you do Aptos. Really, I want to see that, Sean. I want to see that. Okay, so let's go and look at Mr. Aptos. There's a lot of people interested in Tau and Aptos for some reason. Aptos. I'm just, did I delete it? There we go. I was just confused why I don't have it in my list, because I have most of the tokens here on my list that everyone always requests. Right, here we go. Daily time frame, Mr. Aptos. I mean, from a simplicity perspective, okay, you are back at base camp, okay? I mean, I don't know how simpler it gets than this. You have a pump, you come back to base. You have another pump, you come back to base. So this has now been a proven level since 2022. It's been a proven level of support. Now you're back at base. This automatically becomes a very logical spot buy DCA zone, whatever you want to call it, because every time you come back to base, well, you get a nice little pump here to the upside. Okay, so for me, yes, this was definitely a great buying opportunity. And maybe history is just going to repeat itself, right? Maybe history is just going to repeat itself. So definitely a good zone, right? If you are bullish on Aptos, I'm not a fundamental trader. I do not know what the fundamentals look like. I'm a technical trader. I trade the technicals, and technically it came back to base. It even dipped below, and it stopped out all of these people over here that had stop losses below these lows. Okay, so that's a nice little liquidity grab. I do like it when price when was this? 2024. This was 2023. Okay, it wiped out the liquidity to the downside for 2 years, right? So there's obviously people add and put their stop losses below the low because price is pumping. They don't take profits thinking that it's going to go higher, and it falls back down. Okay, again, people don't take profits and it falls back down. Now that little week over there stopped out all of these people if they didn't take profits, still hoping for another leg here to the upside. So that was a beautiful liquidity grab. So this is just really simple technical analysis. You back at base. Base camp is usually the best buys. Okay, I just want to look at it from a log perspective and see what I can see over here. Very similar picture. Okay, some people might call this a head and shoulders. I'm not convinced. It's holding support at the moment, and there's green volume kicking in. I really like this. I like this. A massive spike in volume usually indicates the end of something and the beginning of something new. So nice little volume spike. You grab the liquidity below these lows, and there's a chance that it's going to find, some choppiness and start turning around. Look at what it did over here. Look at the curve over here. It dipped below, made that higher low, and it continued momentum to the upside. So perhaps it's going to do the exact same thing. Technically, this is a great level. Where it's going to go, I don't know, because this low took this low and this low. Okay, this is a fresh new structure that is forming over here. I cannot take these structures into account. This can't be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, can't, because it took the low. So this is now a fresh new structure that's forming over here. So I have no idea where it can go to. So the altcoins that I have in my portfolio are altcoins that still have bullish structures that are intact, where they have made higher lows, so that I can use the structures to determine where to take profits. The best profit taking area over here, okay, is the highs. Okay, and if you want to be more conservative, you take a fib from the high to the low, and you can say, okay, well, I'm going to take 25%, 25%, 25%, and you just DCA out of your position. Can it do that? Of course, but no one knows. Okay, this is hopium, guys. This is hopium. If you're buying over here and you're planning to take profits by $50, that's hope. That's not based on any strategy. Okay. Because of this low, this is a fresh new structure. So technically, I do not know how high this is going to go. So the best profit-taking areas that I have for Aptos over here is 382, 50%, 618, 786, close, out. Can it go higher? Of course, but no one knows. I want to trade what's within my control. And technically, because you took the low, I cannot use these structures to figure out where this wave can go to, where the ones that I have in my blue list over here that I've shared, okay, the ones in my blue list, I know exactly where to take profits because their structures are still intact. It doesn't have to build a fresh structure, and because I'm a technical trader, that's very important to me. Right, and remember guys, Aptos, Tau can be traded on BTCC. Okay, fresh new exchange that I'm offering for everyone to go and try out. Okay, I have deposited money into this fresh new exchange that I have been testing out, and my plan for now with this exchange is that I plan to open up some swing trades, but it's not time yet. I will do some day trading, of course I will do some day trading, but I want to open up some epic swing trades over here, and I will share it with the community as well. But it's not time just as yet. Okay, super chat. Do we have a super chat here in the house? Thank you so much for the super chat. Do you think Doge can reach all-time high as it should be in fourth wave? Let's check it out. Let's check it out. Mr. Doge. Mr. Doge is on my blue list. Just by the way, FYI, Mr. Doge is on my blue list. Why is Doge on my blue list? You might ask yourself. Well, it's been respecting this simple little trend to the upside so beautifully. Okay, it has made higher highs and higher lows consistently, not like Aptos, for example, that claimed the lows again. So I can work with this from a technical perspective. I can work with this. I can determine where my next profit target areas could potentially end up at. Okay, so let me clean up the chart. Right, I just want to see, I did prepare stuff. Here we go. This is my stuff. Just want to take this one fib out the way. Okay, I know it looks very, very meshy. I just want to see, I know that there was something else that I also prepared. Okay, let's put off the stuff. Let's put on this. Okay, this is what I prepared. So on the log scale, on the logarithmic scale, this is where things looks very interesting. When an altcoin or any commodity or asset that I'm trading on the daily time frame has moved by more than 100% to either the up or to the downside, I use the log scale. It just balances out the chart again, and it makes everything look cleaner and nicer. Especially when I apply Elliott wave theory, I like to use the logarithmic on the daily, weekly, monthly time frames, especially when price has moved by more than 100%. Okay, so based on the bullish case scenario that I have over here, you potentially have a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. Okay, this is the most insane bullish case scenario that I have for Doge. This is potentially a double 1, 2. This cannot be a 4, okay, on the larger time frame. Maybe you're talking about a 4 here on the smaller time frame, but this cannot be a 4 because it retraced too deep. It's not allowed. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Unless, I'm going to show the unless now. This is my most bullish case scenario. There is a more conservative scenario as well. But based on my most bullish case scenario, I know exactly where to take profits. I've got my targets marked out. my fib extensions to the upside. I know exactly where to take profits conservatively. And then there are some moon bags that I'll leave open for higher levels, because 112 combos on the macro time frame can get really insane. Okay, so another scenario is, let me switch this off. Okay, let me just take this out the way, is the most obvious. Okay, let's do that. You guys see the trumpet? You see the trompeto? I just want to make this thinner. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a bearish case scenario. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In a trumpet, expanding diagonal. Very rare, never preferred unless all other scenarios fail. Well, not all scenarios have failed yet. Okay. But this is your most bearish case scenario, where you have formed a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This was your corrective structure, which is actually still insane, by the way. Okay. Oh, it's actually still insane. But, okay, let's talk about the bearish case scenario, is that this could all be a first leg of a correction. You make it, and you do that. Okay, you form a 3-wave structure after you have a 5-wave to the upside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 5 waves to the upside. You want to see maybe a larger corrective structure here to the downside. You take a fib from the low to the high of the structure. Maximum target needs to be the 786. This is the most bearish case scenario that I see for Doge, which is still bullish, because after a 5-wave structure and a 3-wave corrective structure, you expect an explosive 3rd wave to the upside that eats this high like it's nothing. Okay. Bullish case scenario at the moment carries higher probability because expanding diagonals are rare, never preferred unless all other scenarios fail. And the 112 combo to the upside has not failed yet. Okay, they are very rare. These trumpet are very, 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 very rare. Okay. Right, but that is still a bearish/bullish structure. Okay. I must also say, guys, this momentum here to the downside is awfully corrective. It's not impulsive, exactly the same like I've analyzed Bitcoin, where I kept on saying, while Bitcoin is dumping to the downside, I kept on telling everyone Bitcoin's going to claim the high before it claims the low. And now Bitcoin is here already. Okay, this is a very corrective structure to the downside. It is not impulsive. So worst case scenario is that this is a B, C, W, X, Y. So maybe you make a lower high, you roll over, you take the lows again. Maybe you find support in the golden pocket. We all know how beautiful the golden pocket presents itself. But I have to always show you guys the bearish case scenario as well. It can't just be up from here, okay? I have to look at both sides of the coin. So worst case scenario is Doge finds support. Best case scenario is the low is in, and it's a 112 combo, which does carry higher probability. So I just want to look at this local structure that it's formed here to the upside on the 1 hour time frame. Okay. Where's my counts? Let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Does it balance? Does it make sense? No, it doesn't. Can't be a 5-wave structure to the upside. Okay, let me just make this bigger. Cannot be 5 waves to the upside. Let me do cycle primary. Why can it not be 5 waves to the upside? Unless it's a contracting diagonal, and it's not a contracting, it's expanding. Okay, it's expanding. Never preferred, right? There you have another trumpet. So I need to figure out, is there another way to look at the structure, okay, before I just go here. So the reason this doesn't work is because 4 went into the territory of 1, not allowed. So it can't be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The only structure that makes sense is a 112. Okay, so let's move this up. You move this up, move this here. Okay, I'm going to paint it out so that everyone sees. There you have another 1, 2. Okay, this is 3, 4, 5. Right, so maybe this is what you were asking in the super chat. Okay, let me just make this a different color. Let's make it yellow and make it a little bit smaller, make it minor. Right, so that is basically what your structure looks like. Okay, let me just clean it up. Guys, this stuff takes work and it's difficult to do it as quickly as I can without you guys losing interest. I do apologize. But I'm working as quickly as I can over here, right? So let me just switch on those lines. So that is the structure that you are looking at. Okay. And this structure will always carry higher probability than the expanding structure, the trumpet that I've just shown you, because this scenario has not failed, therefore carries higher probability over an expanding structure. Okay, that's an expanding structure. The rule is never preferred unless all other scenarios have failed. Now, this scenario has not failed yet. Okay, if price falls down here, then, okay, we can say, well, for a rare structure has now finally played out. But until then, I need to give this scenario the highest probability. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. Okay, so yes, to your question, if this is 1, 2, look, inside of your third wave, you need to have 5 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm still looking for another high here on Mr. Doge. So the invalidation for your fourth wave is the 0.618. Okay, so you need to take a fib from the low of 2 to the high. Minimum target for your wave 4 is the 0.382, which already got tapped. Okay, so your minimum target for your wave 4 is already tapped over here. Invalidation is the golden pocket. Most common zone for your fourth wave is the 0.382 to the 0.5. It is a little bit concerning how short. It's very short. It's a little bit concerning how short this structure is compared to this structure. You want to see almost a similarity in time. It feels like it needs to continue a little bit and then go up for the fifth wave. It needs to extend the corrective structure. It's not an invalidation. Okay, it's just from a look and feel perspective, it looks like it's a very short fourth wave here to the downside. But I must say, I have seen altcoins do this, especially on ETH as well. They form this nice 1, 2, 1, 2, and then they just go 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, and it falls down. Right, the structure is not as stretchy that I have it over here. It just 4, 5s the shit, the shit out of each other over here, and it falls down. So I have seen that play out. Okay, so that's basically what I see here on the price of Doge. I want to see, is there maybe a trend here on the 15-minute? Oh, and this is also why I'm looking at the break of trend. Okay, I want to play this long trade. Let's see how this plays out. You can be a little bit more conservative and you can say, well, maybe this is your trend. Okay, it's a little bit steep. I'd rather get in over here. It's better risk management for me. Okay, cool. Super chat, another super chat, all the way from the United AED. Your life came up. Yes, and learned so much. Awesome TA, simple. Thoughts on Brett and areas for next retracement for those who missed the boat. Mr. Brett, I do have a small spot back of Brett like I mentioned yesterday. Let's go and have a... Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Let's go and have a look at Brett here on the daily time frame. Okay, Brett is one of those guys where I was underwater, deep underwater with Brett, and I just held on. That's all I did, because at some point, price has to recover. It's just a patience game at the end of the day. I mean, look at this. It literally tapped the last level of support and got the bounce. Last area of support got the bounce. Beautiful. Okay. And Brett was actually one of those tokens that had a perfect expanding triangle. Trumpet, look at this. Okay, here's one that actually played out. Let me just take this out the way. Show everyone over here. Look at this. You had a beautiful trumpet. It's very rare that I see these structures play out. And Brett actually had a beautiful one. Okay. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C. Still a higher low, and it just blasted off to the upside. And this is also why I pointed out the bearish case scenario on Doge. If Doge is going to form the similar structure, I still see the potential for a higher low, and then you see an explosion to the upside in a third wave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, can you guys see the power of these structures? Right, but very rare, never preferred unless everything else fails. Myself and the community actually played this long. We played this long. We entered over here, okay, and we took profits at the highs. Right, and now it took the dump here to the downside. So the unfortunate thing about bread, because it's still a little bit new, okay, this structure, I cannot use this structure anymore. From this point, I cannot use any of this to determine where this is going, because it took the lows. It took all of the lows over here. Okay, it's a fresh new structure over here. So you've asked for next areas of retracement. So maybe from a local perspective, we can go and determine areas of retracement. But unfortunately, I don't know where Brett is going to go, because it needs to build a 1-2. So I can see where the third wave or the C wave is going to go to the upside. Right, so let's zoom into the smaller time frame. And remember, guys, Brett can be traded on BTCC. Okay, on weeks, on Bluffin, all the links down in the description where you qualify for the best sign-up bonuses and lowest trading fees. Go and check out Mr. Brett. Mr. Brett. Go and check out BTCC. Go and check it out. I've been really enjoying the trading here on BTCC. The only thing that I've noticed, and this is the only thing that I've noticed, is a very minor thing. When I change because you all know that I like purple and red purple and green candles. When I change this to purple, okay, which is my favorite, I don't like to see red on my charts. Okay, and I go and stuff around with the background, and I like to make my stuff like really dark black so that when I trade at night, it doesn't impact my eyes. For some reason, after a couple of hours, when I come back into the exchange, it defaults back to the same colors. That's the only pet peeve that I have with BTCC, but I did let the team know, and they said they're looking at fixing that. So, I mean, it's such a small thing, but the stop losses, the leverage button, the everything else works to perfection over here. So guys, go and check it out. First link down in the description. Okay, all you need is an email and a password, or your cell phone number to sign up and start trading here on BTCC. Right, so locally here on Mr. Brett. Okay. 1, 2. Guys, so, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can it be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Take a fib from the low to the high. No, it's invalidated. It's not allowed to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, can it potentially be a contracting diagonal? No, it cannot be a contracting. Okay, well, now I have seen this structure play out on Brett. So now I'm also like, okay, I've seen this structure play out on Brett before, like I've just explained. Okay, so maybe there's a chance. Okay, so from a bearish case perspective, let's talk about the bearish case perspective, because Brett has done this structure before. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're looking for a deeper retracement to form a higher low and continuation to the upside. From a bullish case perspective, it is forming double 1-2s here to the upside. Okay, or triple 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and it's just going to rock and roll. From a simplicity perspective, just want to see something. Yeah, from a simplicity perspective, there we go. Okay, best area of support, and then a lighter area of support here to the upside is above these highs. Okay, that's a lighter area of support. But your best area of support is this green box that I have over here. Okay, you take your fib from the high to the low. Okay, so if you asked for a retracement area, so regardless of how you count this from an Elliott wave perspective, doesn't really matter, because this could be a triple 1-2, it doesn't really matter. But you know, when you come back into the golden zone, support, right? This potentially becomes a load up zone. Okay, right. 786 should not be lost if it goes down that low. That's your maximum bouncing area. You don't want to tap the 0.88. It increases the probabilities of taking the low. So best area of support is at 5.213 cents. Okay, the prices are highlighted here next to the FIB levels as well. Okay, more locally, I mean, if you are day trading, okay, that's a different trading strategy. I personally will not day trade Brett. I don't like these weeks. I don't like it. Okay, I'm very selective about which coins I day trade. I don't like that. So I won't day trade Brett. So, I mean, if you want to get into this local structure, take your FIB from the low to the high. Okay, you are finding support. Right, you must probably broke a little trend, but I mean, guys, it's not a day trade token for me. I'm very selective about what I day trade. So for me to analyze here on the 15-minute, 5-minute time frame, okay, it's not my cup of tea here on these little meme coins. Okay, I day trade Bitcoin. I will even day trade XRP. I will even day trade DOGE, something with a much bigger market cap. Right, there was a successful trade here on XRP. Provided by one of our coaches. Breakout, TP1, TP2. Okay. Definitely not in a trading zone for me at the moment. Okay, right, legends. I have unfortunately run out of time. Awesome. I was looking for long-term swings. Okay, are we not forming berry CVD on BTC? 3-minute time frame. Let's look at 3-minute time frame. My alarm still has not gone off. No, there's no berry CVD, nothing. It's very neutral at the moment. Okay, very neutral. Right, because I mean, look at, you just have to look at the structure over here. Okay, I'm so used to CVD, I know exactly what to look at. And I mean, and you just get trained. Okay, look at this high. Okay, look at this high. Look at this high. Look at this high. Price is already past this high. And it is still trading below. That is a sign of strength on the larger time frame. More locally, price is grinding up, CVD is grinding up and also going down, which is showing still some strength here to the upside. So I think it's still going to grind here. I think the one interesting thing I'm seeing about this structure, by the way, guys, the one interesting thing I'm seeing, where's my pen now? Okay, about this structure, it looks like 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2, and that's going for 3 4 5 4 5 4 5 4. Okay, you have the grind, and then it corrects itself. So it looks like the grind is not going to last forever. Okay, I would be very surprised to see this. I would be very surprised because it already had the momentum wave between the two grinding sessions. Okay, I think it can still chop. It can still chop here to the upside, chop, and then fall down. But I would be very surprised if it just lifts off like a rocket, because it already had the rocket move there in the middle. It already had it over there. So 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2, maybe the 3 4 5 4, it's now building up over here. So still area of interest, okay, is at the point of control. Let's see how it reacts over there. I'm also keeping an eye here on the 1.236, 1.382, 618 magic number. This was a 618 catch. It's a beautiful magical number. This was a 0.88 catch. So yesterday, okay, we shorted over here and we longed over here inside of our Legends Pro community. So there's a lot of traders that will say, well, there's no ways you can get into the bottoms and there's no ways you can get into the tops. Well, swing failure patterns allow you to do that. It is an advanced trading strategy, but they do pay off, okay, because you can take advantage of the entire move. You can take advantage of the entire move. You hit support. This is where I started taking profits. I left the moon bag open for lower levels. I took more profits and I closed my position here. And then I took this long. Unfortunately, when I took this long and we were climbing up here, I closed my position by mistake. I wanted to take a little bit of profits and I click on the wrong button. So, okay, I'm out of the trade. But I see the pro members, they knew, right? They knew they needed to leave those moon bags open. Okay. Dart saying we missed the CPI expected numbers then. Chart saying we miss the CPI expected numbers. Can you look at USDT? I have already looked at USDT dominance. Okay, can you talk about ETH? Right, sorry legends, I've unfortunately run out of time. I can talk about Rune, I can talk about ETH. There's many altcoins I still want to talk about. I'm still deciding whether I'll have time to do another live stream today or whether we will just focus on altcoins tomorrow and we can go through, 20, 30, 40, depending on how much time we have, just looking at altcoins. Okay, right, but I will put in the thumbnail altcoin only. So if you come in here, you need to expect that we're only going to talk about altcoins. Right. Cool legends, have yourselves an amazing day. Until the next one, cheers for now.